The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. Jesus said to the Pharisees, "I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. The hired hand, who is not the shepherd and does not own the sheep, sees the wolf coming and leaves the sheep and runs away, and the wolf snatches them and scatters them. The hired hand runs away, because a hired hand does not care for the sheep. I am the good shepherd. I know my own, and my own know me, just as the Father knows me, and I know the Father. And I lay down my life for the sheep. I have other sheep that do not belong to this fold. I must bring them also, and they will listen to my voice. So there will be one flock, one shepherd." The Gospel of the Lord. My brothers and sisters, you may be wondering why we're hearing the Good Shepherd again. We heard this Gospel all of last week. It's because it's the feast day of Saint Francois de Laval, the first bishop of Canada. He was a bishop in Quebec City, and actually his diocese, his territory, extended to all of North America. He's the first bishop to come here, so all the Catholics there were trusted to his care, and all souls. So we are reading from the Gospel, John chapter 10, the Good Shepherd, because Saint Francois de Laval was a good shepherd, is what the Church, Holy Mother Church, is telling us today. He was a good shepherd. He was zealous, and he loved his flock. Not all priests are good shepherds. And I'm not saying this to scandalize you. Actually, it's the opposite. I think every priest, by nature, is a hired hand, and he must become a good shepherd. There is only one good shepherd, and that's Jesus Christ. The hired hand differs from the good shepherd in two ways. Jesus says in this gospel, "I am the good shepherd," twice, and then he explains after each one what it means to be a good shepherd. So the first, he says, "I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for his sheep. The hired hand runs away when the wolf is coming." So the hired hand, to become like the good shepherd, must be willing to lay down his life. That's the first thing. And the second time Jesus says, "I am the good shepherd," he says, "I know my own, and my own know me, just as the Father knows me, and I know the Father." So knowledge of the sheep, but not just knowledge like knowing someone's name. It's a kind of love that Jesus has for his Father. How is Jesus his Father and Jesus himself? How is that love shared? In his prayer. These two things that transform a hired hand into a good shepherd is sacrifice and prayer. Prayer and sacrifice. You may be wondering, why am I preaching about this? None of you are priests. I should be going to a seminary or something talking about this. What does this matter to you? Actually, it matters because it's in all of your interests that you have holy priests, that they lay down their lives for you, that they correct, rebuke, encourage, like we heard in the first reading. But you're saying, okay, well, what can I do about this? I'm not the priest. Your prayers and your sacrifices are what make priests holy. There is no such thing as an unholy priest. There are only priests that their flock do not pray for them enough. This is an old saying, but the more I stay in the priesthood, the more experience I have, the more I see it's true. The only reason some priests seem to be holier than others is because there are many people who love them and pray and sacrifice for them. That's the best way to help your priests. And in that, in turn, your priests will give their lives for you. So many people will think, let me make like a nice casserole for the priest. Those are all very good things. I appreciate it. Your food is all delicious and everything like that. These ways that, invite them over, do this kind of stuff. This is how I show. That's great. Above all, though, pray and sacrifice for your priests. Pray for the priests who do not pray enough, and that grace will touch their hearts. Sacrifice for those who are scared to give things up, to suffer, and they will have that courage. This is a very simple lesson, but it's the most important one. Imagine there was a small village with a priest who was kind of indifferent, not very kind to others, didn't have time for people, whatever. If everyone in that little parish, 200 souls, 300 souls, if they all prayed for their priest, do you think he would stay like that? No. He would transform. And if he became holy, then the parish would become very holy. So I'm not kicking the can to say it's not my job or my responsibility. I'm reminding you that you have a very important role to play. You don't just come and receive and go home. We're all one body. And if I suffer, you suffer. If you suffer, I suffer. If you want to support the church, if you want to help the church, pray and sacrifice for priests. That's what will make holy priests and a holy church. It will bless your families, will give us holy vocations, will give us courage and light in a dark world. So today, we ask Saint Francois de Laval, this good shepherd, who gave his life not actually by shedding his blood in this country, but with his zeal, with his prayer, with his sacrifice. He helped build the church here in Canada. We'll ask for his intercession, and we'll pray in a special way for our shepherd here in Ottawa, Cornwall, Archbishop Marcel D'Anfous. Maybe we can offer a little sacrifice this afternoon or this evening for him. Maybe we can pray during the holy hour for him, that he may be as zealous as Saint Francois de Laval was, and lead us, the whole flock, to heaven. Amen.